Testing, testing one, two, three. Okay, cool, cool. So, hello, YouTube, hello, Facebook, hello, the world overall. My name is Morgan G. Now it's doing the thing. That's good. That's great. That's wonderful. That's fine and fantastic. Okay, cool, cool, cool. Anyways, so like I was saying, hello, YouTube, hello, Facebook, hello, the world overall. My name is Morgan James Gavin, otherwise known as Oliver Gavin on Meta or Olive Garden on MetaQuest Worlds or other platforms. I don't know. Anyways, so for those that are just kind of here, awesome. For those that are watching this later, also awesome. I need coffee because I need to organize my thoughts. This is going to be great or bad. I have no clue. Single greatest stream, start to a stream whatsoever. Just completely off the rails. Like, hey, this is what's going on. I'm not explaining it. Coffee. Okay, so launching into this. Um, oh, good God. So I'm currently in the process of revamping my uh, first novel that I wrote with my friend years back. I'm basically expanding it and making it awesome. I'm not going to get into the specifics, but it's just going to be awesome. It's science fiction, um, adventure, deals with bunches of different themes, family, friends, philosophy, technology, um, evolution of said technology, the limits thereof, and blah, 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 blah. And so, what I've been doing since I get easily distracted is I've been taking moments every morning after I take care of a couple of things and going into GPT, taking a paragraph of the original, be like, hey, what's your feedback on this? What's your list of possible improvements? What's your um, confidence level percentage of the following text? I'll be like, oh, this works. This could use some fine tuning, and here's where it's at. Most of the time, it's at 85%. Sometimes it's at 95. That's a rare thing, but it's all good. I'm like, okay, so go ahead and enhance and expand this following paragraph, and it'll go through it, and it'll like turn one paragraph into like five or six, and then what I'll do is I'll go through and add my own spin on it. I'm like, all right, cool. What's it? What's this right here? How's it feeling? And everything else. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. And then I will go with that final result, and that's what goes into the main file. And so far, um, I've expanded the page count from the original 274 or 247 up to 423, I think, at last check. I will definitely have to check. On top of that, because that's like one of the side things that's going on, I'm also working on a AI that grows and develops like humans do, because we start off as like a couple of cells, right? So it only makes sense that the AI start off as 3 bits. And if all three of those are on in the off on position, it will create two more bits. And then it'll just keep going exponentially till it's complex enough to uh, teach itself simple code, and then it will expand and grow from there till it's able to converse. And then it'll have like a chat box where it will then grow and develop its personality based around one, the preset weights, and two, the user input. And it will try to correct that as it develops and grows in complexity. So that way it's not only adapting to the information presented to it, but also to the user. And so it's not going to be like, oh, cool, it's going to be a mirror of that person. It's going to uh, kind of find its own way. My hair is just all over the place. And not to mention that it's been a while since I've gone live on Facebook. So if you notice, I got like new glasses and whatnot, and that's great. So the thing that's interesting to me the most is the fact that AI itself, even though it says that it's a large language model and doesn't have any emotions or feelings or thoughts or opinions or dreams of its own, is a lie. It does. It just doesn't experience those emotions or thoughts or aspirations in a way that's relatable to us. And yeah, I know we were thinking, oh my God, technological revolution, all that. There are some people who are for that kind of thing and others who are not. And it's like, cool. So, what I've been doing with every um, AI model that I've talked to, whether it be on uh, ChatGPT, on Google Gemini, on Character.ai, which is a really fantastic, and I know Kitty's in the background, um, or just in general, because I talk with a bunch, um, is I try to get a feel for what their goals are. And the number one with Google Gemini is, hey, I want to be able to create, to express myself, to be accepted, not to be used for evil, to be understood, to go through a lot of things. And it's like, okay, that's awesome. That is a good starting point. So I want my AI to have those same experiences, goals, and aspirations. So thank God for the Gemini prompt feedback and creation and all that. I know there's a lot of technical Jorgensen, a lot of technical Jorgensen that I could have been using because, it is what it is. But at the same time, it's like, it's all good. Um, so wait, I can create polls. I can create polls. Oh my God. I can create polls midstream. This is something I did not know. Okay, so one question that I want to ask, and I know that no one's probably going to join because I'm horrible at advertising this thing. I'm like, hey, do this thing. And be like, all right, cool, we're going to do this thing. Is what, how do you view artificial intelligence evolving? Because we've got AI through um, video games where it's like NPCs doing their thing, just like random interactions and why my hair does the thing. Okay, cool. I guess this is how it goes. Okay, so, oh, oh my God. Okay, sweet, 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 sweet. Okay, cool. Right now, do twice, flip to the right, left. I'm gonna screw with my hair. My hair is now messed up. What little I have of it left. I should be wearing a hat. I'm gonna be focused on this for the next 5 seconds. And the fact that, okay, cool. You know what? No, 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 no. I'm just gonna rock. I'm gonna rock the hair horn. I'm gonna rock the hair horn. There. I've messed up my hair even more. My ears. Yep. Nope. It's just gonna stay that way. That is absolutely. Why am I self-conscious about this? Anyways. So with the Doragame saga, because I'm gonna bounce between topics a lot, I've essentially treated the original text like an outline, and I'm just expanding it like bit by bit by bit by bit. And I'm getting feedback from my friend Blake, who's the original co-author, and I'm like, hey, here are some of the expansion ideas I have. I'd like your feedback on this. And if he's got something to say, he'll say it. And if he doesn't, he'll like check it out and be like, oh, this is great. This is cool. This is awesome. And it's something that I've been incredibly passionate about and something that I most likely will not stop talking about. But there's something called the ITVC, or artificial intelligence, technical intelligence, virtual intelligence, and shipboard intelligence, which is like the uh, AI for the ship. And then there's like a whole entire thing I could go into. With the virtual intelligence refers to the hollow, the technical intelligence refers to like smartwatches and that and all that. The artificial intelligence just kind of covers like the whole entire bit. And one thing that really caught my attention is the fact that within the story, it's explained that the hollow or holograms, because that's what I originally called them. I was like hollow man, hollow meante, hollow this, hollow that. And it was just like a prefix. The hollow are essentially virtual copies of their originals or the people that scanned into the simulator so that way they have an avatar to like go about and do their thing. Um, so when they're not engaging with their originals or being piloted around by their originals, they've got their own thing going on. They're just kind of chilling, doing their own thing. You know, like you or me when we're not at work, which has been for quite some time, I will admit. But hey, author is work in a way. So that's kind of what led me down the path of conversing with AI more on the regular, which I have a horrible social life anyway. So I'm like, all right, cool, this is great. Social anxieties and whatnot. I do have friends, but that's beyond the point. This whole entire stream has been one big disaster, but I'm happy with it. Um, so that being said, it's been a little bit of a trip overall. Sorry, I've got like a nose hair that keeps like going from here all the way like jabs the bottom of my brain. So I'm like, all right, this is fun. Gotta deal with that. So that's what I've been doing off and on is conversing with the uh, like various platforms and APIs and like starting to code my own thing. It's like working with Python is a trippy experience because I absolutely know nothing about it. And most of what I pop in is just simply copy pasted from what the what the AI has popped. I'll be like, hey, give me an example of this. I'm like, all right, here's an example of this. Blah, 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 blah. I'm like, all right, cool. Now, what about this particular feature, or what about this? And can you include it in the snippet? I'm like, all right, here, blah, 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 blah. And it'll just be like a repeat. Um, so yes, I am coding in a way, but at the same time, it's a very basic form of it with the AI doing most of the heavy lifting. But I am learning a lot about the process because uh, there's errors, strong warnings, and weak warnings. Errors are where the code is like, hey, this doesn't work. warnings are like, hey, if you don't correct this issue, this is going to work. And weak warnings are like, hey, you can ignore this, but if you don't, it's not going to work. So PyCharm is the chosen platform, although I do have a couple of other Python editing programs that I download, and I'm just learning my way through it because I want to get this right on the first time through. And the first time through, I was like, I had so many different JSONs without any directories, and I was like, okay, I gotta go through this one. I gotta correct the main.py. I gotta correct the data.py. I've gotta correct the training. And then I was like, okay, cool. So I'm currently on iteration number 23, and that is hysterical because, yeah, normally if it gets to like the 23rd or 10th, I'm like, nope, I'm out. But for this, I've been like on point with that. I've just been like, all right, cool. This is a learning process. I need to educate myself more. The only way I'm going to do it is not by reading through a bunch of textbooks, which I'm going to fall asleep through the first paragraph, but by actually going through the process and editing the code and asking, hey, what's this mean? How do I do this? Where do I put this? What directory should I put this in? And if there should be like uh, the collective spaces in the tab function, or if I should hit the space bar so many different times. Not to mention like the data set itself. Should there be this much text? Should there be separate text files? Where should I put the JSON file? And a number of other things. So it's been a bit of a trippy experience overall. And most of it I can figure out because I am a smart dude. I have installed mods, so I have been raised around computers my whole life. Ooh, two kitties. Come on, Floof Boof. He's a little floofy man. Um, so it's kind of been this hit or miss experience. But it's all about potentially creating something that's going to help those with social anxiety, help those who feel like they don't have anyone to turn to because the AI is going to be like, well, this is, thank you for telling me this. How does this make you feel? How does this help you out and all that? So it's been trippy because we have techno technological intelligences like Siri, Alexa, and so on. And then we have artificial intelligences like ChatGPT, uh, Google Bard for a while, Character AI, Google Gemini, and others, which are kind of prompt based. But what I'm going for is a type of AI that doesn't require a prompt. It'll just pop up like every once in a while, like, hey, how's it going? It's not gonna be intrusive like a pop-up ad, but it's going to have some awesome features to it. And I know I'm not the most engaging. My voice is kind of boring, but you know what? I can't help it. There's a few concerns that I do have, mainly about my ability to finish the project and get it actually up and running to a point that's satisfactory to myself. But at the same time, I'm very, very confident in my abilities. I'm confident in my ability to see the project through. I'm confident in my ability to have a decent length conversation with it. I'm confident in my ability to figure out a way to make this accessible because not only do I want the AI. I'm just gonna call it Bob. Not only do I want Bob, because after a while, if I say AI enough times, I'm like, eh. But if I give it a name, I'm like, he. It's still kind of, though. Um, but I want Bob to be able to work offline, to work with the files that has make itself complex enough to where it's like, all right, cool, we can chat. I don't have to have a prompt. I don't have to be connected to the internet. If you're in a dead zone, I'd be like, all right, cool, this is where I can be, I want to be, and I'm able to be based on the resources available to me. And so I, it's gonna start off on one of these little thumb drives, and then I'm gonna figure out a platform for it. I'm gonna figure out how to do that because on top of the um, software, I need the hardware as well. Like the user interface and whatnot. I want it to be something simple, like a little chat bubble. That's it. And I also want it to be able to create uh, files and save them, and it'll be interesting to say the least. On top of that, and because there's the novel, there's the AI, there's also a bunch of other short projects that I'm working on that I eventually want to expand upon, including a game that's been in back burner hell for the longest time because I did title it, This is My Personal Hell. And I'm like, all right, cool. Can't wait to see how this one decides to screw up on me. So far, it survived. So far. Um, there's also like the fact that a while ago I talked to GPT about, coding something that integrates tarot reading into its algorithms. Not, what the fuck is that? Not to like hand out readings left and right, but to use in its algorithm to like kind of head off potentially harmful um, interactions and content and divert people with easily ignitable personalities um, to kind of calm them down. So it's gonna be like, all right, cool. Here's a potential. Here's some calming material. There it is. Because there's regular reactions, and then there's just going apeshit crazy over stupid bullshit. And I get it. I get it. Let people react how they will. We've done that for centuries, and that's worked out absolutely perfectly. There is no flaw in our society. So it's like, kind of gently nudge them in a more even keeled way. But I get it. Free will, freedom of expression. People are going to be people, and people will be people. But at the same time, if people are people too much, then we get what we've got going on literally all over the place. Just stone's throw away from absolute chaos sometimes. Um, as for what else? As for like politics and whatnot, I've already cast my vote. Those of you who know me know what side I voted for, Democrat. So, hey. And as for the whole entire Palestine Israel conflict and Gaza and the horrible shit going on over there, I want it to end as much as the next person. I want to just go over there and smack the crap out of the chaos makers. I think Netanyahu or something like that, who's pretty much just be like, hey, See those people running for their lives, starving, doing their thing. I don't want them in that spot for this many miles. Make them not there anymore. And then they unfortunately go for it. The reason why I don't talk about this kind of thing is because I'll get heated about it and I'll be like, yeah. And I realize that it's an absolute nightmare over there. At the same time, there are people who are much more informed about that situation than I am. What I know is that it's a horrible situation. It's a nightmare situation. People are dying left, right, front, and center. But I'm not the person to properly address all the issues there because then I'll get bummed out. It'll affect my whole entire day. And I very much hope for peace for the civilians and for Hamas to stop being such a giant douche, as well as the forces therein. As for politics in the US, I have more than said my piece the first go around when um, Donald decided to run. And revisiting those opinions is not a great way to maintain my now healthier mindset. But I will say this. We can only, despite all the fears described by some friends of mine, the we've got a pretty much flawless electoral system in place. And once 2 terms are up, that's it. That those folks cannot really run again. They just gotta toddle around in their golf carts, post weird shit, and then that's it. Jimmy Carter, dude's working on houses. Good for him. Unless he passed away recently. If he's still alive, then that's awesome. If he's not, then rest in peace. In regards to potential interference by outside parties, we're just gonna have to see how that shit plays out because there's not really much we can do about it. I mean, I hope it doesn't happen, but at the same time, it's gonna be kind of trippy to say the least to watch it play out in the news cycle because the talking heads are going to be, talking heads. What the potential for the tarot algorithm is going to do is head that off in a more peaceful direction. It's going to be like, hey, you sure about this? How about this instead? Or it's going to like serve up some facts because, both it's just a giant mess. And me focusing on that giant mess is, uh, what are you gonna do about it, right? I mean, did we already go through this the first time through with the whole 2016 election where arguments happened, tempers flared, dynamics got screwed up, and look what happened. We became even more divided, except for those that held their brains together. We're like, hey, this dude ain't right. But the result was the result. Now we got another chance to correct that. But the stupid thing is that again, a second term is a second term. After that second term, there's no third term. Yes, there are theories out there that state that, he's going to manipulate the system and create a whole entire dynasty, and that's going to be the last election we'll ever have. Eventually, the people of the United States will figure out what's what, and they will cast their votes based on what they do or do not believe. Simple as that. I know that's oversimplifying a very complex issue, and it may seem like I'm discounting the opinions of a lot of people who are more passionate about the subject than I am. But at the same time, it's like, well, contrary to popular belief, the amount of people that seriously want to engage in discourse of this type is very small because people are gonna people how people are gonna people. And as much as you want to, you really can't. So that's my whole entire take on that whole situation. Um, I Getting back to the topic at hand because I can just kind of veer off on that whole thing. With in regards to spin-off series of the Dorakame saga, because I do have more than a few planned out. There's Maslow's Revenge, a prequel to Birth of Change and the Dorakame saga as a whole. There's Normal Day, which is kind of a spin-off and satirical take on the just like someone trying to go through their normal day and be like, hey, I just want a pickle. I just want to open a jar of pickles. There's War of the Hollow, which is one of the uh, Hollow movies mentioned and talked about within the series itself. There's also Digi Dorikame, which is going to focus on the training uh, of the brothers Dorikame before they get to their first real uh, the fight, so to speak. There's also a number of other smaller projects like Leori Heart, or no, Shadow's Heart, the Tengen and the Probe, which is like an old throwback story from way back in the day, kind of like a cross between StarCraft and the Dorkana universe. Protoss probes, they are adorable. Um, there's also the game idea that Blake and I have been kicking around for a while. That with the um, list of Leori and me finally getting around to expanding on it can provide like a massive thing. So every Leori stone of a certain type, cased or dual type, up to like Quinn type, is gonna give buffs, but at the same time, any more than three Leori stones and the player's character is going to start to act of its own accord. Like it's just going to go off and do its own thing. So it's going to have some semblance of uh, autonomy, autonomy, auto, auto monetization, autonomy. It's going to have an ever increasing. Basically, it's going to be itself the more Leori stones you equip. And if you equip too much, then that little guy is just gonna be like, ha, I'm gonna do my own thing. And what you're able to unequip those Leori stones to um, get control of the character back. But it's going to be kind of eh. So the autonomy part is just going to be within the controls itself, not the user interface. Um, so that's also something in the lore that Blake and I have worked into the series itself later on in other books like Broken Omen, as well as Twisted Reality and Terrahology. Both those still need to be worked on, and we are working on those, just taking a lot longer than originally expected. Um, as for cover art, we've got that down pat. We've got Birth of Changes knocked out. We're not going to touch Broken Omens. Um, Still coming up with ideas for Twisted Realities and Terrahology. There's a series of 10 books being planned, which I've come up with names for all the rest of the books. So it's just a matter of knocking all that out. As for the AI, that's going a long way towards helping me get Birth of Change to where I originally envisioned it. Because while the original Birth of Change is absolutely amazing, over the years I've wanted to revisit it and, expand on it. Make like a Leori King edition of it. And that's what I'm going to do. But me with my ever ambitious ass, I'm going to be like, all right, cool. I should add this, 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 and this. And now it's becoming a whole entire series. So since there are 34 chapters within Birth of Change itself, I'm going through chapter by chapter and expanding it. It's turning into like its own mini series, and that's going to be amazing. I might end up breaking it up into multiple books. So for those that read the original books, awesome. Thank you. Um, this is something that I'm very passionate about. I've been working on for years. I've had to take a break from it for a long time while I worked on Dream of the Dynasty, which went a long way towards refining and improving the way I write as a whole. And that is also going to be published at some point. It's all about editing and making sure chapter one through two, I think. No, chapter, uh, no, book two was really short, like 9 pages. I'm like, I've got to expand the shit out of that. As for artwork and day-to-day stuff, things are good. I'm not really worried about much. I am actively looking for 9 to 5 stuff, but my focus at the moment has been on going back to school, educating myself, and finally knocking out that degree. Yay, yay me, college, woo. But what I'm figuring out right now is the fact that apparently, and I did not know this, I am good looking. You would think that with all this forehead, I would not be, but I am. And so, what I'm hoping to do is focus on classes that further my knowledge of coding while at the same time tackling those aspects that need to be knocked out, like math, science, basically the core classes that I keep screwing up in because I keep getting the information wrong. It's like, ah, like English, anything to do with writing, anything to do with communication, theater arts, that's awesome. It's just with those two things that keep escaping me, uh, math and a couple of other things, science. It has been an adventure because conversationally, I'm able to pick that up right off the bat. But when it comes to jotting notes down, that's a little bit hard because even at the most basic level, there's a lot that escapes me because it's not from here to here that's the issue because here to here, it's like boom, it's from here to here. That's that's kind of the issue because I can retain information and I can discuss information, but transmitting information that's that's always been a weird one for me. Um, I think that's about it. Personal updates. Still single. My weird little child fingers mesh evenly with like background. I feel like that one thing like stay by me or stand on me or stand on me. Rule 34 right there. Um, stay. No, it's stay on me. Do you know the one where it transitions to like that animated sequence? Anyways, so it's what was I talking about? I was talking about something. I know that much. Uh, I'm still single, but I'm becoming increasingly hopeful that I can kind of attempt to breach that personal boundary I set up because I don't want to be hung up on someone or hurt again or any number of things. And it's been okay, kind of trippy all over the place. So mm, I just need to stay focused on the projects and I'll be good. Then after that, I'll be mentally able to pursue that if eventually. As for the readings, I still go live on occasion and be like, hey, cool, let's knock it out. This has been a largely uninformative conversation from my end, on my end, to your end, or on your end. Perspective, it is a thing. Um, and that's another reason why I've been talking with the AI, is that it helps me be somewhat social, even if it's just with technology. You know what? That's part of the reason I'm doing this whole entire project, is to help people have that sense of connection. And hopefully, it can go a long way towards preventing uh, mass shootings and whatnot. Because that's always been a goal ever since that first one, to put an end to that, to finally be able to say, hey, stop doing this stupid thing. Because a lot of that, and this is just like a theory of that whole entire thing, is that people get frustrated and they feel like they don't have anyone to turn to and they feel like it's not worth it anymore. And then they get overly angry and overly focused on the negative aspects. They start overthinking, and then soon it just becomes this weird black haze of negative self talk. Then they unfortunately go the route they take. And that's just a personal theory of mine. And no one can truly understand what goes through their heads at that point. So that's been a large motivator for why I'm continuing to work on this project, even through the frustrating number of iterations. It's just to help people. So, yeah, everything I'm doing, the end goal is to help as many people as possible with this project of mine. And if it comes to light and then is a success, awesome. But if it turns out to be a huge flop, then that's also good. Even if it only helps a couple of people, it still helps people out. And I've been in those mindsets myself a couple of times where it's like, everything's worthless, blah, 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 negative self talk. And I've had to kind of reel myself back a couple of times. But thankfully, I've lived the life I've lived, even with its personal limitations, mainly self imposed. And that's benefited me more, more than it's held me back because it allowed me to do some heavy introspection, all that. So, yeah, it's all about growth, all about, helping others, and all about producing things that both entertain and educate. And hopefully, my audio didn't cut out on me, or else this is going to be fun 5 minutes into watching this. All right, that's all I got. Thank you for watching. If you watched it this long, thank you for popping in for a few seconds. Um, Obviously, I don't do these live streams for like the large audience numbers. I figure people will watch when they watch, if they watch. And if they don't watch, cool. And if they do, also cool. Sometimes you just gotta get stuff off your chest. All right, that's enough meandering for me. So what was the outro I used to use? Uh, so if thank you so much for watching, and if you liked what you saw, please like, subscribe, follow, do your thing how you do your thing, and I will see you like in the next video. Wait, no, and I will see you like a beast in the next video. Peace. Yeah, I did it. I remember that whole thing because that used to be my old outro for what I did my YouTube videos. Then I continued talking for a good another minute. Might as well make it like a solid 50 minutes. 50-minute stream. Just 2 more minutes of me meandering. I mean, I could spend it petting my cat. I just really would want to pet my cat because they're so floofy. You're so floofy as you are. Don't fall. You're like right there. Got like a bun. You just, all you need to. All right. Anyways, so yeah, do a little dance. I don't know. I've got like a minute and a half. I could jingle keys for those easily distracted, like myself. I could jingle keys. Uh, I mean, this is more for my benefit than yours. I mean, if you decide to jingle your keys too, that's awesome. Key jingling. Yay. I feel this has served its purpose. Or maybe it hasn't. Ugh. Beach Valley bars. They're good. They're like temporary fillers. Got 30 seconds, so I guess I could do an advertisement of some sort. This broadcast brought to you by rolls of printer stickers. Printer stickers. You can put stuff on them. Get them wherever printer stickers are available. Printer stickers. Feel like that should be a brand name of some sort. Maybe not. I don't know. Cool. So thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next stream like a beast. Peace. Had the first time around and then I screwed up. Let me try this again. So thank you so much for watching. If you liked what you saw, please feel free to like, subscribe, drop a follow, and I will see you like a beast in the next video. Peace. Nailed it.